Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and today is the second annual summer guide. Now, I know the official day of summer is not until the middle of June. I don't care. Really, I don't care because like Memorial Day, it's the kickoff, okay? It is the kickoff for summer. I've said this once, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll say it for the rest of my life. Summer has begun. Like, I have been honestly like pretending that summer is here for the last 2-3 months, right? Like, I have been just saying it's summer, even though it's not really summer, because I don't think summer necessarily has to be a time period, right? Like, it doesn't... I know this is going to sound crazy, but it does not have to be a time period. It doesn't have to be what, like June 20th or whatever the official day of summer is. It does not have to be, let's see, whatever day. If I had my planner, it would tell me, but usually I check on my paper planner and Google is not giving it to me. So let's Google it real quick. Official day of summer. Yes, I know it has to do with like the positioning of the world, right? And the position of the sun. The official date of summer is June 21st, okay? So I get it. I get that the world has to turn, it has to be in the right area, the sun has to hit it. Like, that's how the calendar was made, because everybody tracked the moon, the stars, and all the planets, okay? I get it. But summer is a mentality. Summer is a way of life, okay? Like, it's a feeling that you get. And we might be conditioned from like our days from K through 12, right? Because summer was the time where we did not have any studies to do. We didn't have any homework. We didn't have any obligations. Maybe we had a summer job, but it was fun. Like, summer, it wasn't that it was necessarily like hot outside or the time period, because yes, it is nice. You're able to go outside and not freeze, right? Like, you can go outside in shorts and a t-shirt or tank top or sit out in the sun. Like, I really believe that the sun, and this is going to sound so basic, but the sun is energy. It's literally energy. And so the same way that a plant gets energy through the sun's rays with photosynthesis, I fully believe like humans are similar. While we need meat and vegetables and all the other foods to get us going for our energy, I think we also need the sun, and we need to be outside. So the sun, yes, gives you energy, but summer, it's a way of life. Like, it's so much more. It's nice that it's warm out, but it's not necessarily the warmth that brings the energy of summer. Even though the sun gives energy, it's the reduced amount of obligations, or it's the ability to go and do. A lot of people take summer vacations. I know for us, like, this summer is jam-packed full of things to do. Every single weekend we have something planned. Like, it's summer. It's way of life. So I have been incorporating the feeling of summer, the energy, the way of life, if you will, like the mentality. I have been having the summer mentality since April because I've just been so ready for it. I have been just really ready to start living life to the fullest, right? Like, we all say we want to live life to the fullest and we want to do things, but I'm actually executing on those things this year. And I feel like in years past, I have built it up in my head, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. If you are in the same era as I am, the same time period that you were born, you might have had oh my gosh, now all I can think is a Tinder. It's not a Twitch, what the heck? I just lost it. This is gonna kill me. This is why I always have my cell phone beside me, because I will like lose my train of thought. Social media old apps. Okay, let's see. Discord 9. Nope. Not Flickr. What the heck was this called? What the hell? I'm so mad actually. It doesn't matter, I guess. You guys will probably know what it, Tumblr! Oh my gosh! My brain literally was not thinking at all. Tumblr. Okay, now that we've came back to center, it's called Tumblr. And if you ever had a Tumblr, it was like Pinterest, but the Tumblr had like all these like very aesthetic posts on it. And I remember like there was bucket lists on Tumblr all the time, like 2016 bucket lists. Like I remember making bucket lists from magazines, from Tumblr, and like compiling them together. I cannot believe it took me that long. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm so sorry that I was like stuttering around trying to think of the name of Tumblr. But this, like, I've been ready for summer, and I have just like really been wanting to like just fully embrace it and to have executed things that I want to do, right? Like I have in the past like looked at these Tumblr list. I have written it out on everything that I wanted to do, but I didn't ever execute, or it was just like a daydream. Not this year. And I think, you know, I did a pretty good job last year, and it was because I did this summer guide. Like I thought about what I wanted to do and I wrote it down. And they always say when you write down your goals, you are able to actually accomplish them because it brings it to the forefront of your mind. It reminds you of what you want in life, like all these great and amazing things. So I wrote them down, and it really reminded me of being back in those Tumblr days of compiling these lists of things. And sometimes they were like super basic. It was like get blue hair because aquamarine was like super huge, or kiss a boy on a Ferris wheel, right? Like all those super cheesy summer plans, so summer bucket lists. And I feel like as an adult, summer, it hits a little different than it did when you were a kid. We build it up in our minds that summer is going to be this big, amazing thing. And usually we're disappointed by it because we don't write down our goals. We don't write down our summer guide. We don't write down the things that we want to accomplish and do during the summertime. And so we just stay in the cycle of wishing for the next season and not fully embracing the season that we're in or what we're doing right now. So if you don't make a list, I have some ideas for you, okay? Like I have some ideas for the summer guide. Obviously, it wouldn't be a summer guide without them. But if you don't write them down, if you don't think about what you want to do, then summer is going to fly by. You're going to do the same things that you've always done. You're going to go to work. You're going to feel burnt out. You're going to then start wishing for fall. When things start slowing down, you can go inside. I do not want you to waste your summer of 2023. Like this is your time to shine. And I feel like last year, like some things were beginning to feel like normal, but this year is definitely feeling like normal, especially with all of the concerts. Like there has been so many awesome, amazing concerts. We have not gone to a concert yet this year. I'm still looking for the best one. I really wish Kelsey Ballerini would do one really close. I keep talking about her, but I've just been finding a lot of inspiration from Kelsey Ballerini and from Carrie Underwood. Obviously, like they're just so empowered, and and Taylor Swift, oh my gosh, also Taylor Swift, but they are just like truly so passionate about their craft, and they are just, it's hitting, like they're just doing so freaking good. And I think like concerts in general just give so much passion and so much energy, and you can't help but like feel so jazzed up and ready, like, and your heart's pumping. I mean, all the music and the sound and the vibrations, like it is truly so much fun. But I just feel like more people are going and venturing out and doing things, and they're not as worried about like restrictions or anything like that. And so it has me just so freaking excited. I feel like this summer is going to be compared to my 2016 summer. Like it's the same, I don't know, like it's been 7 years since I graduated. We just celebrated Lily, my little sister's graduation. She is done with high school. It's crazy. But I was just thinking back, like the energy and the excitement and everything when I graduated. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's feeling similar. Like I am just in a point in my life where it's opening up. Like there's so many great opportunities out there, and I'm really happy, and I want to continue being happy, and I want to continue to like work on my goals and experience new things, because when I look back in my camera roll, I noticed that I don't have as many photos in 2020, 2021, and 2022. I have photos, but like photos are so important to me. I love capturing the memory. I love capturing the moment, the feeling, the everything. And so when I look back in my camera roll, and although I have like a crap ton of photos on my phone, like it is not the photos I want. Like they're not the memories. And it made me think, oh my gosh, like, is it because I didn't do as much? Because I didn't plan as much? And I think I was taking like a little bit of a back seat position in my life, right? Like I was just kind of going along for the ride. I wasn't really planning things. I wasn't really doing things. I wasn't executing for sure. And I feel like I've been just a little bit lazy with my happiness, and lazy with like going after things and trying to just like fully feel alive. Like it just boils down to, I want to feel so good, and I know that you have to have some downs to like feel like the extra high, because you have to have like the good and the bad, right? I was I saw like a post or whatever, and it was like my kid, their child, whatever, toddler, maybe little, I put a rock in their shoe, and I like gave them a sucker, and I told them to walk down the driveway and back. And the kid was like wobbling and not walking very good, and they had the sucker, and they were limping and feeling all this pain from the rock in their shoe, right? And the dad asked, he's like, hey, like how was your walk? And they were like, oh my gosh, like my foot hurts so bad, like this rock is just like so painful. And he's like, how was the sucker? Like you had a sucker, and you didn't even notice how like sweet the sucker was in their mouth, right? Like they were just focused on the negative. And I feel like I have been a little bit focused on the negative. I've not been focusing on the sweetness of life. And I truly believe it's all about your perspective and where you are focusing your energy. And if you are like just acknowledging the great things, that is a practice that I have been working on, to when something good happens, big or super small, to just say, oh my gosh, like thank you, like this is awesome. Like I'm just thanking God for that, whatever it was that fell into place. Recently I've been like being able to locate things really good. So if I'm helping my mom with Lily's graduation, although it's past, like it was this weekend, I was like looking for stuff, and I don't live at home anymore, right? Like, so it's been 7 years since I've lived at home. Things have moved around the house, and I feel like I have just been able to locate them very good. There was like a table, like fold up table, right? You have all these guests that come over, and you need room for them to eat their supper or whatever. So I'm like looking for this table. I go up there. I like glanced around. I was like, I don't think it's up there. Lily looked, she could not find it. I go, my mom goes, I know it's up there. Like, just look one more time. And it wasn't even 30 seconds up there. I found it. Then like Garrett said that his keys were on the bed or in his shoe. He said, I think I put my keys in my shoe so that they wouldn't be lost because we are staying at my parents' house, and they weren't in the shoe, and I immediately, like, my eyes found them. I've just been really, really good at locating things, and that might seem super cheesy, but I hate losing things, right? Like, or not being able to locate things, like tumbler, like locating the name. That's also like, I wasn't doing very good, but at least I got it right for that. But it could have been worse. I could have not thought of the social media name until like hours later when you're laying in bed. Like, that's when it hits the hardest, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I should have said that, or I should have done this, or I found it like after the fact. So I've been really, really good at locating things lately. And I literally told, every time it happens, like, I'm able to just find it like super, super quick. I think to myself, wow, I'm so lucky. Isn't that awesome? Like, no matter how big or even so small, like finding the keys, that took me like 12 seconds. I don't know, like, it's been really good. So I've just said, thank you. Like, thanks. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you for finding it. Like, it's awesome. Like, I'm so happy about it. And when you acknowledge the good that is happening in your life, even if it's just finding keys so quickly, then it's like, all right, the bad stuff, you don't notice as much. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm burnt. I got a little red in the sun. But I like put on sunscreen, but it rinsed off in the water and I didn't apply. I could think to myself, oh my gosh, like, I am so sunburnt. Like, I'm like really red and it's painful, and I scratched up my knees because I was on one of those lake pads, like those water lily pads or whatever, and I scratched up my knees and did all these things. I could be like, oh my gosh, like, that is the worst thing ever. I'm sunburnt, like, I got a little toasty in the sun. No. Or it could be like, that was the best day ever. I had so much fun. I feel like a kid again, and it's fine that I get a little toasted in the sun. I love my skincare, right? Like, I am very conscientious of putting sunscreen on, making sure that I'm taking off my makeup every single night. I've never skipped a night of taking off my makeup, like, since middle school. You know, those are important things to me. And so I could be bent out of shape that I got a little sunburn, because to like help your skin stay healthy, you don't want to be in the sun. You don't want to like burn yourself, because that leads to rapid aging. So I could focus on the negative and think, oh my gosh, like, I've fallen off track. I've not worked on my goals. I've not done this because I got sunburnt. Or I could focus on, that was the best time ever. I had so much fun so that I forgot to reapply sunscreen, right? Like, it's focusing on the positive and focusing on the good that is coming into your life, because that is what is going to make the pain a little bit more bearable, and it's also more fun. So I just feel like I've been taking a backseat. I have not been planning things. I have not been focusing on the good. I've been focusing more on the negative than the good, and I want to change that, and I am changing that. I am working to just have the best summer yet. Garrett and I have, like, we have so much on our calendar. Since April 1st, the Sawyer, his cousin's wedding, like, we have had every single weekend packed, and it will not slow down until after September. And so, like, we are running around, and Garrett and I have not been able to spend as much time together because we've been splitting time. I've been having to travel. I went to Texas. He has went to Chicago for a work thing. Like, I've been in Iowa a little bit, and he's going to Baltimore a few days from now. So it is like one thing after another. We are completely on different schedules, and because we're trying to fit it all in, because we are trying to, excel our career, excel our network, or whatever we're doing. And it could take a toll on our relationship, right? Like it could if we let it. But we're not. We're focusing on the positive, that when we are together, we are totally focused on one another. When you're in a relationship, Garrett and I have been together for a few years now, and we could get lazy if we wanted to. We could not ask each other about our hobbies, our goals, or what we're wanting out of this life. We could just be in the same routine and not necessarily be interactive or involved with one another, right? Like we've all had the roommate phase for anything where you aren't connecting as much as you would like to be connecting. We could be doing that, or we could feel super on separate pages because we've been traveling so much, but we're using it as an opportunity to not be so comfortable in our relationship, and to talk more, and to focus on when we're together, and we are focused, and we're not filling the evening up with just Netflix, right? Like I love Bridgerton. Queen Charlotte's story was so good, but we don't have to do that every single night. We don't have to be searching Netflix for the next show, the next distraction, because we know we're not going to be able to hang out because we're going to be separated. Like there's another thing coming up. Even though we live in the same house, it can feel like we are doing a long distance relationship because he's over there, I'm over here, I'm doing this, he's doing this. And we drove separate to my parents' house because he's doing one thing, I'm doing another. And we're focusing on the positive. We're not focusing on the negative, that we're not at our house, we are not in our own environment where we can control all of the different situations, different variables. That's what I was looking for, different variables. And we are instead able to take the experiences that we are having separately, and when we get time together, we get to talk about those things. We get to discuss and have dialogue and be more involved. And I think it's better and it's more strengthening to do things separate and then come together, because we're having our own experiences. And it kind of goes back to, if you're not doing something for yourself, because the longest relationship you will ever have is with yourself. If you are not doing things independently, it's kind of similar to texting that boy, and if you refer back to when you're dating, texting a boy where your dialogue or your text messages is like, hey, what's up? Nothing. What are you doing? Watching TV? Oh, fun. Like that dialogue, you know what I'm talking about. When you are just texting a person back and forth and you guys aren't doing anything, you've had no experiences. It can be so similar to your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, significant other. You're not having any experiences. You're going to work, you're like, oh, how was your day? It was good. How was your day? It was good. Basic. That is so basic. So we are pretty excited that we have our own experiences so that we can come together and discuss our day and have some conversation. I truly believe that people who are working on themselves and making their goals and writing it down and going and experiencing things, they're more interesting, right? They have something to talk about, they have something to say, they're pushing themselves, they're challenging themselves in comparison to someone who isn't doing anything and taking the easy route. So I'm pretty excited. So far this summer has, I know it's just Memorial Day, I get it, but I feel like it's a good feeling. This year is gonna be our best year yet, okay? You and me. This is going to be our best year. And then the next year will be even better, right? So I have compiled a summer guide. I'm so excited. I truly feel like this is a year of travel for me. So I'm trying to be even more diligent with spending time with Garrett, with being intentional with my time, and not just I saw this video the other day and it was like when your girlfriend is in pause mode while waiting for an appointment. So she has an appointment at 4 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock. She does not want to get caught up doing all these different things because she doesn't want to be late for her 4 o'clock appointment. So she's just like waiting on the couch. Have you ever done this? Like where you are just waiting for the event and you feel like you cannot fill up the space because you don't want to be late or you don't want to be ready. It's the opposite of trying not to do too much. Like it is just trying to maximize the time that you have in a way that is still like soothing and nice and you're not going to be stressed, but you're not in this pause time where you're not sure what to do or if you can do anything because you're just waiting for that appointment. I don't want to be just waiting for the event. I want to, like, even the small little things, like having a cup of coffee and sitting on my back porch for 10 minutes, like that's an event. Like that can be a truly monumental moment if I bring awareness to it and think, oh my gosh, like this is an awesome moment where I'm able to sit and talk and just or sit and be quiet, not necessarily have to talk to anybody, but to just like appreciate nature and appreciate the birds and maybe see a hummingbird, because you guys know that I love hummingbirds. But that can be a huge event instead of, oh, like today we have a bridal shower, so I can't do anything until the bridal shower is done. And then when I get home, I'm going to be so burnt out, I can't do anything after the bridal shower. You are only burnt out if you are not doing enough for yourself. So it can be like a cup of coffee beforehand. It can be afterwards, you pick up a new book and you read a book. Like even if it is for the shortest amount of time, you can still make things an event. You can still make things fun. You don't necessarily just have to be in this like waiting period of events. Maybe you're like me and you have a bunch of weddings this year or a bunch of trips planned, or you're traveling a lot, or it's just work, right? Because work can also be like this pause period where you have to be at work at 8 o'clock and you get off at 5, and then what are you doing before 8 o'clock? What are you doing after 5 p.m.? Are you going home? Our days are so extended in the summertime. It's awesome. It doesn't get dark until what, 9 o'clock? And so you're able to pack so much in. I mean, 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. That's 4 hours. That's 4 hours. What could you do in 4 hours? It doesn't seem like a lot of time, but if you actually like were diligent and how you're spending that time or what you're planning or what you're doing, I mean, it does not have to take a lot of time. A walk around the block is not a lot of time. Going to get an ice cream is not a lot of time. I think back to when I was a kid, the best times were like in the evening where we went to the gas station and we got an ice cream. Like that is so simple. And I also think, how did my parents have so much energy like raising children and taking us to do like fun and cool things when I'm too tired to even like after work do anything fun? Like that is not what I want to be doing, right? Like I do not want to be so drained from something that I can't go and experience. Like if a mom is able to wrangle her 2 children and take them to the beach once she gets off work, like I should be able to take my own self to the beach and to enjoy it in that moment, right? Like I just feel like we are missing the big picture and we're focusing on the wrong things, and we're taking a back seat position. That's all I can think. Like we need to climb into the driver's seat. We need to steer this ship or this truck or this car, or just steer your life, okay? Steer your life in the right direction and stop being so passive, okay? Because passive literally means like inactive, and when you're passive, you're letting your life just like drift on by, right? So I have compiled, it's Golden Hour Drift's second official summer guide. So the first one is not going to be what you expect. I honestly, like, when I was compiling this list, I wanted it to kind of be in order of importance, but I also wanted it to still be like fun. So I have 10 of them, and I started with like number 5, because I feel like when you're making a list, like, the first one is never like the right first one. The first one that comes to mind is like not first priority. Even though it's the first that you think of, it's not necessarily like the one that should be on the list first. So I started with number 5 and then like filled in kind of importance. And I think this one is going to be the most important. So I am back home. Right? Like, I am back in my hometown this week. That's why if you're watching on YouTube, I am sitting on a couch and I am not in my studio in Missouri. So I'm in Iowa, and I have the worst signal here, literally the worst. And it has me thinking, and I saw something, of course, on social media, but it is called a dopamine purge or dopamine restriction. Basically, what you do is you have 7 days of no instant gratification, no apps on your phone, so like no social media apps, no Netflix, no like any sort of streaming platform, no YouTube, no music with like lyrics. It can only be instrumental. And it's called, I'm trying to think of what it's actually called, but it's basically like a dopamine, all I can think of is like, if you are addicted to something, you have to, all I can think of is recovery, and that it's like the in-between from being an addict to recovery. It's that intermission part. I can't think of what it's called. Withdrawal period, I guess. But so you have this dopamine restriction, and that is my first official summer guide, is to lower the amount of immediate gratification, lower the amount of social media. So this can be a weekend, it can be 24 hours, it can be like a 7-day thing that you do. So without phones, TV, podcast, music, all of it. Like, you just do a dopamine purge. And people who have done this say that it is so good for their mental health. They feel like a kid again. I've seen like a few people's journeys because they talked about it afterwards. Again, you're not supposed to have like your app, but she used her computer to like start writing a book, or used her iPad to draw. So you can still have technology. It all depends on what you want to do with it, right? Like, if you are busy scrolling all the time, to then like not scroll as much, and use like more of your artistic skills and what you want to do. Essentially, it's getting quiet and it's being bored. That is my number 1 summer guide, like list or recommendation, if you will. Everything on this list is what I'm doing. So you can do it too if you want, or you can add your own. I would love to hear them if you want to DM me on Instagram at Golden Hour Drip. But honestly, like, I'm doing a dopamine, like, cutting it off. Like, I'm gonna purge it for, I'm not sure if I'm gonna try like 24 hours, try a weekend, try 7 days. I think it would be so good just for my brain to be bored, because when you're bored, like in the shower, if you don't take your phone in the shower, honestly, like, think about it. How much is your cell phone next to you at all times? It's always in your hand's reach. Like, it is a pacifier, and you're always able to just like have it, look at it in uncomfortable situations, like wherever. So for me, like, when I was a kid, I didn't have a cell phone all the time. I was able to go outside. I was able to be creative. I wasn't worried about what everybody else was doing. I wasn't worried about what I was missing out on. I was able to just fully be present. And these people who have done it, like, and talking about it after, say they have this like influx of like energy, and they don't have any mind fog, and they just feel so much happier. And I feel like it would help just kick my summer off right, where I'm bored enough that my creativity starts pouring in. It's always when you're in the shower that like it comes, your creativity comes, your good ideas comes. I have to drive 6 hours to get from Missouri to Iowa. So during that span, like, it's so much time for me to just think and be present, because I can't be on my phone. I'm not being entertained by anything. Of course I can turn on a podcast. Of course I can turn on a book or music, but it's really just like me and the road. I don't have anything to entertain me. So I just think this would be so good to challenge myself. Maybe you want to challenge yourself too. It's funny, like whenever I talk to my friends or I talk to my family members, a core idea that I hear all the time is limiting the people that we follow, or limiting the amount of time we spend on social media, and getting so micro and meticulous on where we are spending our attention, our energy, and our time. And so I want to be more meticulous with my time. I want to be living my life. I don't want to be taking a back seat, going back to the car analogy. I don't want to be passive. I want to be fully engaged. And to be fully engaged, like this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, I have had limited cellular data, right? Like I don't get a signal. So I cannot be on my phone. And I've never felt more present, more alive. Like it's been amazing. It's been so much fun. And I'm in my hometown, so that already comes with like a few feelings of reverting back to my younger self, right? Like reverting back to a simpler time. But on top of that, to not have like cell phone data, I'm able to be more present, and I feel like I get more good ideas, and I am just having more fun. And I want you to have more fun too. And I want you to talk with your friends and converse with the people around you and start conversations, or to get quiet and try a hobby. Like hobbies are so good for your like mental health. It's unreal. So I'm just trying to go back to a point in my life where I was truly happy, and I wasn't so caught up in what everybody else was doing, and I was just more creative. That's what I'm chasing after. Like I just want my mind to be flowing, and like they say, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Like if you don't use your body is going to rust out, right? If you're not trying to use your mind is going to, it's a muscle, right? And so if you're not using your mind, it's going to then rust out, right? I don't want to rust out. I want to wear out, not rust out. So I am just trying to be more conscientious of how I'm using my phone, how I'm spending my time, how much screen time I'm getting, how much instant gratification I'm getting. Like I'll know it. Like I've been reading books lately, summer books. If you follow me on Logan Lee Miller on Instagram, I post my books on my stories, and I have a little highlight of the books that I'm reading this summer, so you can check it out. But I noticed that like if I am kind of like overstimulated, I will try to read my book, and then like a few pages in, I'll want to pick up my phone. Like that is not a good habit to be in. So I've been trying to, like whenever I get like that, like to look at the book, and I hold the book and I'm like, I'm reading a book. And it's that wanting the quick dopamine of a flashing video instead of like making a story in my head from the book that I'm reading. So that's my number one, like summer guide. Reevaluate where you're getting your dopamine. Are you just creating a fun life on social media, or are you actually living a fun life in real life. So that's my number one. Number two is this one. So it goes from really, really high goal like to number two is laying in the grass and watching the clouds. I used to do this as a kid. It was so much fun. I remember like jumping on the trampoline, jump, 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 and then like my legs would get like jello-y, and I would lay on the trampoline and I would just like look up and watch the clouds. That is boring, right? Like that's boring, but it is when your mind can relax. It's like a form of meditation, and you're in the grass, not on the trampoline, but you're in the grass, so you are grounding yourself and you're in nature, you're breathing the fresh air, and you're looking at the clouds. So summer guide or bucket list, if you will, bucket list items for summer of 2023. The next one is a drive-in movie with car snacks chosen for each other. So find a friend, a significant other, and pick out the snacks or the meal. I think this would be such a fun, cool thing. Like I said, Garrett and I do not have everything, like our schedule is not the same right now. We have a lot of individual trips and we have a lot of individual things that are going on in our lives. And so instead of running parallel the entire time, we're trying to have our paths cross sometimes. And so planning date nights or more interactive things than just going to supper, like that is going to be more memorable than just like grabbing something to eat or cooking something quick. Like to say flip a coin in I've seen this before, I think it's so cool, but if you have like a quarter or whatever and you flip the quarter, and if it's heads, the other, like I get to pick. If it's tails, Garrett gets to pick for appetizer, drink, main course, dessert. Or if you go to a gas station to get snacks, because drive-in movie theaters, the whole point is you get to bring in like your own food, you get to be in your vehicle, and you can talk during the movie, which is the best thing. I love, love, love to talk during the movie. It's just like my favorite thing to do. So that's where it's more intimate, where it's just the two of you and you can talk. But to pick someone else's snack, like how fun is that? Like trying to see how you know the person, or just going to the gas station together to pick out snacks. Like now you're making it an event. I personally, like growing up, did not necessarily like going to the movies during the summer because I wanted to be out. I wanted to be running around. I wanted to be like with my friends, talking, chatting, conversing, driving somewhere, right? I did not want to be sitting at the movie theater all the time, right? But movies are so good. I am going to see the Barbie movie, okay? Like Robbie or Margot Robbie, I just started with her last name. Margot Robbie is my inspiration. I love Barbie. I grew up with Barbies and Bratz and American Girl dolls. Like I'm a dolls girl. Like I love that stuff. I love dressing them up. Actually, Andrew and Rachel, they came down. Andrew is my best friend from high school. Andrew is his fiance. They're getting married in 3 weeks. I'm so excited. But Andrew and I went to school together, and he came to our hometown for Lily's graduation. And Rachel, his fiance, was going through like his high school stuff, and we have little like newspaper clippings. I just pulled mine up. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. This is what mine looks like, if that will focus in. So it says Taylor Logan Lee, because if you didn't know, my first name is Taylor, but it says like your activity, well, it says your parents, your activities, best advice you ever received, best high school memory, and future plans, and then it has song you love to hate. And my song I love to hate is Barbie Girl. It's I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. You know the song. Okay, I'm not gonna sing it for you. I am the worst singer. But she literally just sent it to me, and she was one, just because it was memorable. She was like, oh, look what I found, right? But I love Barbie. So I want to go to the movie theater and I'm going to watch Barbie. I know the Barbie movie will not be in a drive-in theater, but like sometimes that can be a fun event. That can be a fun something because you're finding snacks, you're going with friends. Like I'm sunburnt right now, so maybe I would want a chill like evening. You're gonna have that. So picking the snacks makes it more fun and more of an event than just going to the movie theater, right? Like just going to veg out, because I can veg out at my house. Like, so going to a movie theater, and then bonus points if it is a drive-in movie theater. You pick snacks, you make it cute. Like that's one of my goals this year. Like that is a goal of the summer. That's on my bucket list. That is the official guide for summer. So the next one is try a workout class by yourself, okay, and get coffee with an attendee after. I've been working to do this. So I have been going to spin class, and I met a girl the other day, and I was like, hey, like I've seen you around, like my name's Logan, and we were chatting, and she's like, oh my gosh, like do you usually go to the Sunday classes? I was like, not always, but I love Natalie. That was the instructor at the time, and I was like, I love Natalie, her classes. I've gone to a few of them. They're great. And she's like, okay, next time we will, and we exchanged phone numbers and or Instagram. We exchanged Instagram, so I like DM'd her on Instagram, and she said, okay, let's plan a day and we'll go to class, and then afterwards we'll go get coffee. I felt, guys, when we, like after this exchange, when I got into my vehicle, I felt so good, because making friends and like meeting new people is so hard as an adult, because you aren't in the same situations that you were in high school and in college, like where you sat together in class. It gets very difficult. So if you're looking for friends, going to a workout class and then just striking up conversation, one, it's a huge confidence booster, because you're feeling confident in yourself, you're putting yourself out there. Like that can give you an instant boost of like, man, like that was scary, but I did it. Like you get the endorphins from it. But then you have the opportunity to make a brand new friend that you might not have made if you wouldn't have put yourself out there, if you wouldn't have tried to get something together to do it with them. So I was so freaking excited, and we're going to be planning coffee after our workout class. So I'm so excited for that. But that's a challenge for you, to go out to invite someone that you don't know for coffee afterwards. Like how fun. Just think, like if you did this for all your workout classes, or maybe it's a little harder at the library, or just striking up conversation can be so hard. But if you have like a workout class, it's a little bit easier because you guys share like a common want. I don't know. I think it would be super neat to try it. And like, how many friends can you make in one summer? How many times can you strike up conversation and then like actually plan to do something, instead of just being friends on social media? Like I'm over it. I want to be friends in real life. Okay, friends in real life, building that community. The next one is grow an edible plant. I love gardening, okay? But if you've never gardened before, if you don't usually have a garden, if you've never grown a vegetable, a fruit, or anything, try and grow an edible plant. Mint is so easy to grow. You can grow a crap ton of mint. It will take over. I don't recommend planting it in the ground because it will literally grow so massive. But try and plant something, and when you harvest it, like if it's an herb like chives or rosemary or mint, like when you harvest it, you feel so accomplished. I have tomato plants. I have planted cucumber plants this year, carrots. Like I love gardening. I love it. I love going outside and nurturing the things I grow, and to just like ground myself. You guys know this. I love it. I love it so much. So trying a new thing to grow that I've never grown before, that's gonna push me out of my comfort zone, and it's also going to allow me to try something new. If you have never grown anything before, you can, if you have a window, you can grow something. So as like a summer guide, like that's gonna make you feel more present, and it's also going to allow you watch something over time and have that like just, oh my gosh, satisfaction of it being grown at the end. The next thing on my bucket list, if you will, is try a mocktail recipe once a week. So I think that a beverage is so nice. I love getting coffee. I love coffee houses. I love going to new spots to try a juice, a coffee, whatever, a like alcoholic beverage, but I don't like how alcohol makes me feel afterwards, right? Like I like it. Alcohol increases the dopamine in your brain, and so that's why your brain like alerts you to drink more, because it can feel it like coming down. So I don't necessarily want to do that. Mocktails are gaining in popularity, right? And they're not as like taboo, I guess. Like more people have mocktails, and I actually just got a mocktail recipe book from Host by Tori. I met her at the Dear Media conference in Austin, Texas. She has like a little booklet. I ordered it off of Amazon. I'm so excited to try my first recipe, but I want to continue with the mocktails. Like I want to make it just like a satisfying thing for me, where it's like after work, if you like want to make something for yourself, but it's a Tuesday, like who wants to be hungover Wednesday? Nobody. But I also want to take care of my body. So if I can add any sort of like probiotic or benefit to the drink that it's going to actually enhance my health, like why wouldn't I want to do that? So it's my goal to try a mocktail at least once a week, like to just make it fun, to spruce it up. And actually tonight, after I get done with this podcast, I'm making my first mocktail of the summer. I screenshotted a few because I accidentally forgot my mocktail book at home. I screenshotted a few mocktails that I think would be good. So the first one is a pina, and this is the one we're making tonight, a pina colada mocktail. It has 4 ingredients. It's frozen pineapple chunks, which I just put mine in the freezer before this podcast, so hopefully it's frozen by the time I get back. Ice, pineapple juice, and coconut cream. How good. Like the tanginess from the pineapple and then the sweet cream from the coconut. Oh, heck yes. The next one is a strawberry mojito mocktail, and that's strawberries, mint leaves. Think about this, like if you planted mint in your garden or in a window box, like, and then you grew your mint, that's something you've never done before, and then make a mocktail? Are you kidding me? How fun would that be? Simple syrup and sparkling water. There you have it, a strawberry mojito mocktail. And then the last one that I screenshotted was a these are from entirelyelizabeth.com if you want to check her out. This one is grapefruit juice, ginger beer, tonic water, and lime juice. Simple ingredients, but think of like how that is just going to maximize your evening, your morning, your afternoon, whenever, and it's not going to make you feel bad. The next one is a water park with friends. When was the last time you went to a water park? I cannot think of the last time I went to a water park, like at all. Like I love water parks. Like think about it. How fun is that? Or an amusement park. That's one of my goals for this summer. I'm going to a water park or an amusement park. I don't care. Like I want to go, I want to experience it. I want to be back in that kid mind. Like in that summerhood mentality where everything is a game, everything is fun, and I just think it would be truly awesome. So I'm gonna get my friends together and we are going to a water park or amusement park. I don't know which, but we are for sure gonna go and we're gonna have a blast. The next one is paint a lawn ornament. This, or like, not necessarily paint, but any sort of like concrete where you put your hand in it, like a handprint, or like paint a rock. Like I have a beautiful garden and I want to like paint something in the garden. I don't know. Or like a flower patch. Mother's Day has passed, like I get it, but like think about if you painted a little rock and gave it to your grandma for no reason at all. How awesome would that be? She would be stoked, okay? She would be so happy and would love you forever. So I want to get crafty. I want to paint something for no reason. This one might be on the list because Garrett told me that I needed to either use my paint brushes under the sink or throw them away because they're in the way of our cleaning stuff. We'll see. The next one is read a book a week, minimum. I'm a book reader, so if you're not a book reader, like I get it. You don't have to read a book a week. Maybe you read a book a month, but I love reading books. They're so much fun. I just ordered a few more, and I borrowed some from my mom. I've read like a few of them in this past week. It's been awesome. Because I'm trying not to spend time on my phone, having a book is so good. I've been sitting on my hammock and just soaking up the sun. I've been loving it. So the last one is an evening or late afternoon or early morning walk once a week. Get outside, walk around. I feel like this sounds basic. Like, how can that be enriching? How can that be fun? But summertime, it's warm outside. This is the perfect time to be outside, to walk, to get some fresh air, especially if you work a 9 to 5, because you can feel like your summer, or an 8 to 5, because you feel like your summer has been stolen from you because you have to spend so many hours in a work day, right? Like 40 hours a week if it's full time, 30 or so if it's part time. So getting in like a little bit of outdoor time in the morning or evening, that's so good for your mental health, and it also just extends your day, and it makes you feel like appreciative of summer because you're outside, you're in the thick of it, right? So that is my summer guide. If I've missed something, DM me on Instagram. What is a part of your summer guide or your bucket list, if you will? Because like I said, I loved these things on Tinder. They were not Tinder, on Tumblr. Oh my gosh, on Tumblr, they were so much fun. I really just like love thinking of these things and kind of having a game plan for summertime. So whatever I missed, tell me what you're doing with your summer. I would love to hear it. And if you actually do any of these things, tag me on social media because I love to see what you're up to too. If you have not already subscribed to our email list, go ahead, hop to social media or click if you are in Spotify or Apple Music or the Apple Podcast app, click down in the show notes down below, sign up for the email list. We are having our first live event July 15th, so that can be a part of your official summer guide, going to the Golden Hour Drips live event July 15th. Be a part of the email list so you can get updates on this and you can get access to tickets a full day before everyone else. This has been in the making for a couple months now. I'm so excited to just put this event together for you guys, and honestly, like it's that should have been number one on my my bucket list or my summer guide. So thank you so much for watching or listening wherever you're at. Be sure to share with a friend who might need a little bit of encouragement. So thank you, and until next time, bye.